Hello everyone, welcome to Salesforce Helping Hand channel. My name is Raul Prajapati. I'm a senior Salesforce developer and currently working with TCS. So guys, again in the interview question and answer series, I'm going to share with you one very important questions, which is I think asked in each and every interview. So today I'm going to discuss that questions with answer in detail. And if still you have any questions, you can comment and I'll try to give you the answer with detail. Okay, so let me share my screen with you and come to that particular question. Okay, so guys, that question was is okay. So here, if you can see my screen, right? Let's keep all the font little bit, you know. Okay, yeah, it looks good now. So guys, the question I hope you get from interviewers, so they might ask you what is a stateful, what is a stateless. So sometimes they ask a different, sometimes they ask, single concept. Okay. So basically, I'm going to this questions cover in detail, so you will be able to get to know all the answers which are related to the same question. Okay. So in Salesforce, Apex batch processing, we use database.batchable interface to process the large volume of record asynchronously. Okay, batch job can be stateful or stateless, right? Depending on whether they have mentioned state across the batch. So it's totally depend on the requirement. Sometimes you need to, maintain the state, or sometimes you don't need to maintain the state. Okay. So let's start with the stateless batch job, which is also known as default one. Okay, a batch job is a stateless by default, meaning, so what is the meaning of it? That instance variable do not retain their values between execution. Okay, what are the characteristic for the same? No state instance variable is maintained across the different batch chunks, right? And second, each batch execution start with a fresh instance of the batch class. Third one is memory usage is lower and improving the performance. And last but not the least is suitable when each batch can be processed independently without needing data from previous batches. Okay, so these are the some questions, and now let's move to the Apex code. Okay, so this is the stateless batch code, and if you know, we have the global class name, and we have this interface database root batchable, and we have this global database root query locator, and then we have sorry, start method. Today I was tired, so please don't mind. So we have start method. Inside the start method we are querying the data, and then we have the execute method, right? And in execute method we are processing the data, and then we have the finish method. So as you know, like when we implement the interface, so we this database root batchable, so these three methods are required. We have to take it these three method. Okay, so now let's move to the next question, guys. Not next question, but yes, to understand in detail. So each batch chunk run independently. Any instance variable declared in the class will not retain the values between the batch execution. Now let's understand stateful batch job. To maintain the state across the execution, to database root stateful interface is required to ensure that instance variable retain their value between the batch and transactions. So what are the characteristics? So characteristic is the instance variable persist across batch chunks, and useful when aggregating that across batch, example counting records, summing values, like that. Next, require more memory as Salesforce stores the state, and slightly slower than Sales stateless due to the state retentions. Okay, so here we have the code. So basically we have the implement database root batchable, and along with we also need to implement the database root stateful implementation here. And we have one variable which is called record count. So basically we need to check how many records are getting processed successfully or not. So in that scenarios we can also use it. So maintain the state across batches, global database root query locator, then we have the start method, right? and the start method, then we have the execute method. And if you see this variable record count, right? So what we are doing, we are scope dot size, so whatever scope we have, and we are adding in the size. So every time whatever chunk is there, it will process and it will count in that particular record, and then we can get the record count, return the value across the batch execution. And then finish method will load the total number of process record. If you see this, total number of records and record counts will be here. So last is comparison table, stateful versus stateless. So features wise we are comparing here. So memory uses, if you see, so stateless batch is lower, but stateful is a higher. Instance variable not retained and written across the batch. Performance is faster because of course that's what they have the less feature. Best for independent transactions, aggregations, compute and calculations. Keywords none, but database stateful is required. When to use which? This is again a very important question. So use case and best choice. So processing record independently without needing the previous batch data. So in that case, stateless is required. Aggregate values, tracking progress across the batch, high performance processing. Stateful is required. And high performance processing, stateless is required. Keep running some list or counter or across the batch, then stateful is required. So now come to the conclusion part, which we always do, guys, in each and every interview video. So use stateless batch default when the each batch execution can run independently for better performance. Use stateful batch when you need to store the data across the batch execution, but be mindful of a memory uses. So this is the answer of this question, guys. I hope now your all concept get clear. Thank you very much for watching my video. Let's meet you in next video. Thank you. Stay tuned to the Salesforce Helping Hand channel. Bye.